Hey, it's a beautiful day for bird watching here in Galveston. We've already spotted some white ibis and a juvenile yellow-crowned night heron. Let's see if we can see them. Hi, I'm Sasha, Community Engagement Coordinator with the Galveston Bay Foundation, and I love learning about local wildlife. I've got my binoculars here because we never want to get too close and disturb the animals. But today we're going to take a walk and explore and see if we can see some birds of the bay. There's a little white ibis friend. Today we're going to show you our very special Sweetwater Preserve. It's a 449-acre property on Galveston Island. It's home to a diverse selection of birds, among other animals.
There are so many species that rely on Galveston Bay, its waterways, or land connected to it for food, shelter, and safe nesting spots. Today we're seeing a lot of white ibis, as well as some different species of egret and heron. You can see here there's that large great egret, and then to the left of it, a great blue heron. We also see lots of brown pelicans flying overhead or resting in Sweetwater Lake. And today we are lucky enough to see a few of these birds, which are a little bit harder to spot. These are scissor-tailed flycatchers. They're incredibly agile, flying up and catching bugs in mid-air. You can often see them gathering in the fall before they migrate south for winter.
Protecting the habitats around the bay in turn protects the wildlife. If you'd like to see how our habitats and wildlife are doing this year, check out the Galveston Bay report card at this link.
Seeing this beautiful ecosystem in action reminds us how important it is that we ensure it thrives now and survives for future generations. So how do we do that? We have a whole team for that at Galveston Bay Foundation. They seek out places like this to keep safe and healthy. We acquired this property in 1998 as part of our land conservation program. As an accredited land trust, Galveston Bay Foundation has conserved over 8,000 acres of critical coastal habitat in and around Galveston Bay. And although each of these properties serve as excellent bird habitats, Sweetwater has the most diverse and impressive populations. That's because this special piece of land contains a wide array of habitats, from coastal prairie and freshwater wetlands to intertidal marsh, oyster reefs, mudflats, and more. Our goal at Sweetwater is to conserve and restore these habitats, and therefore the animals that need them, as well as to provide education and research opportunities for those interested in protecting our bay. Since then, we've made huge strides towards these goals. We've installed shoreline protection, including oyster reefs, protecting the preserve from erosion, while also encouraging the resurgence of a once bountiful oyster population. When it's not flooding from tropical storms, this is what the oyster reef looks like. But it's still helping protect the shoreline, even when it's covered. We've also removed invasive species and restored the area with native plants, based on the varied elevations and salinities. We've installed education centers on the property, including a birding platform.
Not only is our birding platform a great place for us to see some birds, but sometimes they actually like to hang out on it themselves.
I will just never get sick of watching these guys. Nope, there he goes. We've also built a pavilion for oyster reef monitoring. We've brought volunteers of all ages out to build oyster reefs and conduct surveys of oyster growth.
So although Sweetwater Preserve is not open to the public, we do have different bird viewing and volunteer opportunities throughout the year, like Marsh Mania, our signature marsh grass planting event.
By restoring and protecting marsh grass and oyster reefs, we help provide homes for blue crab and juvenile fish, which also are important food sources for a lot of the bird species we've seen today, including this yellow-crowned night heron. They use the shrubs of Sweetwater to roost, and they also love eating the crabs they can find here. You can see these white ibis probe their long bills into the grass and mud to look for crabs, crawfish, as well as insects too.
In addition to the species we saw today, during spring and fall migrations, there are a lot more you can see here. They sometimes stop on their journey along what's called the Central Flyway. This big area, all the way from Canada through the central United States, kind of over to the west and down into South America, is a great path that birds choose to avoid big mountains and hills in their path. The Galveston Bay region is an important resting place, or should I say roosting place, for migrating birds. One of our favorites, the sandhill crane, can be spotted here every winter. Their wingspan can be from 5.5 feet to 7.5 feet. That's bigger than mine.
This is what the awesome sandhill cranes look like, and they are quite the sight to see when they take off from our Sweetwater property in the morning. And because we also have some freshwater wetlands here, we can spot migratory waterfowl like the blue-winged teal. And here are a few more wading birds we regularly see at Sweetwater. The black-necked stilt, the reddish egret, as well as roseate spoonbills too. The diverse habitat here also attracts other birds that like open spaces or shrubs, like caracaras, orioles, warblers, and other migratory songbirds. Sometimes we'll get really lucky and spot a bird of prey, like this juvenile white-tailed kite. How cool is that?
So as you can see, this preserve, as well as our other conservation areas, are really important for a wide variety of bird species and other wildlife. If you'd like to learn more about how Galveston Bay Foundation protects and restores habitats and how you can help, visit galvbay.org. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Happy birding!